one of the inflection points in the life of an early stage and emerging company is when it's time to hire a sales leader. It's exciting, right? I'm going to transition from being founder-led sales, and now I'm going to have a sales leader who's going to build out my sales team. This likely occurs after a funding round, and the investors in your board want you typically to hire somebody who's been there and done that, and can scale up the sales team to the point where you've got a sustainable pipeline and consistent revenue success. The problem is, if you haven't figured out your product market fit, your messaging, and your execution strategy, your sales process, if you haven't connected the dots on how a dollar gets into the door and how do you keep it and grow it, you probably should not make the hire. Because if you do, you hire experienced guy, big salary, equity, and so forth. You're making a bet that in 6 to 9 months, they're going to figure it out for you. And if they don't at the end of 6 to 9 months, it's really painful because you lost that time and you lost that opportunity. So it's much better to have all of that figured out before you hire your expensive sales leader, or temper your expectations when you do hire them, because figuring that out, it's not easy. I don't care if they come from the industry. I don't care if they have a whole lot of knowledge about your product. And every situation is unique. However, you do have that figured out. I've had much greater success working with a sales manager instead of the expensive sales leader because they tend to be coachable, they tend to be very motivated, and if I have the plan figured out, I can hand that to them. If I have the playbook, I can hand that playbook to them and let them run those plays. So the sales leader is obviously a critical inflection point for most organizations. You really need to think through what are your expectations for that individual, and what are the chances of success once I put them in that role.